feel it's like so formal. Hello. And hello, everybody who's joining us from Zoom land. We're so happy to have you. My name is Denise Reagan. I'm the Executive Director of the Garden Club of Jacksonville. And we are so happy to have you with us today. And I would like to introduce our speaker for the day. LaVonne O'Shields is a longtime member of, and she has become an expert at writing awards applications. So much so that the Garden Club of Jacksonville won several that she authored last year, including Garden Club of the Year. So we're very, very excited to have her here helping with this program to teach everyone how they can write award-winning applications. So LaVonne, please take it away.
Good morning. I'm LaVonne O'Shields, and we are a small group. We're kind of cozy, but as they say, we may be small, but we be mighty. And I expect great things out of this group. First of all, I want to thank those who are in attendance and those who are on Zoom. Today in our group, I have two members of the Jacksonville Garden Club's Awards Committee. These are people who they review the awards and present you with large cash prizes. That's a joke. Okay, first of all, so let's get started. Why should you take a day out of your life to write an award? Well, first of all, it brings your group together. Group has won something. I know the excitement when we won Garden Club of the Year. Phone calls were made all over the city, and there was just a lot of jubilation. It gives you an opportunity also to highlight your group's skills and talents. And who doesn't like to have a pat on the back and a little fanfare when you've done a job well done? So where do we begin? Well, first of all, I would suggest that you choose or designate someone in your group or your circle to become an awards writing team. You can have one person, but it's always good to have someone or a group of people who are very active in your group and attend most meetings. You need someone who takes photographs and someone with some basic computer skills. And then you will need to tap into your treasurer at some point in time, because they will be asked to give a treasurer's report or a financial report on the cost involved in your project. Secondly, once you have a project in mind, you look over your programs for the year, you look at either your programs or an event that you're going to be doing, and then read through all of the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs awards descriptions. Read through them and find one, maybe two, that might cover your event. Then be very conscientious of taking photographs of all your events. And when you take these photographs, try to get pictures of as many different members involved. Not only your members who are part of this work, but the attendees. And if you're working with another group, be sure to get pictures of them too. If your event is written up in the newspaper, be sure to get those newspaper clippings. If you have flyers or signage that is announcing your event, take photographs, have that too. If you receive thank you notes, or you can even write down quotes of appreciation. Sometimes people will just come up to you and say, I learned so much in this event. I can't wait to go home and start an herb garden. What do you recommend that I start with first? Remember that quote and include it in your documentation. Okay, so now Denise is going to open up the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs webpage, and we're just going to go right through this. I'm going to take you through the process step by step. And the first thing I want you to notice, okay, here's the website. Denise is going to scroll down just a little bit, and I would stop right there. Under Florida Federation of Garden Clubs is their mission statement. In my process, I always write this mission statement out and I put it at the top of my desk because I want to keep that in my mind. Why are we doing this? To promote the love of gardening, floral and landscape design, civic and environmental responsibility by providing education, resources, and networking opportunities for our members, youth, and community. Now, you're not going to use that whole thing, but there are elements in there that you will use in your objectives. Now, if you'll scroll back up, looking along the top, you see home, about, look at awards. We're going to go down to the awards descriptions and rules. As I said, I'm going to take you through this step by step. This is my process, which has worked out pretty well for us. Okay, first of all, at the top, they identify why you should do an award. Contributes to a group's cohesion and pride, gives your group credibility and visibility, and it brings new ideas to your circle. Now, please look at the box in brown. For those of you who have submitted awards to Florida Federation before, things have changed. The only constant in life is change. And the new awards chair is Sandra Arnold, and they have a new awards web place that you will be submitting your awards. When you submit awards to the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs, you submit them digitally. This is a hard copy of 2 of the awards I submitted last year. It's all done digitally, and they provide, and we'll be looking at the application in a moment. And then there's my documentation. Pretty simple. 1 page, 2 pages of documentation. 1 page, simple. Now, if you have a more elaborate, if you're applying for something like the Garden Club at Jacksonville, then you would have to submit something called a book of evidence. You'll see it referred to as a BOE. This is simply a little folder, and then you will be putting all your documentation in that, and you will be mailing it, and they will give you the address is along with the description. This is for a very big award. And most of what I'm talking about today is for the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs, but do not forget to look at your own garden clubs awards. Over here, I have a number of awards that the Garden Divas submitted to the Garden Club of Jacksonville. If this is your first time writing awards, perhaps you would like to start off at the local level. They do require a book of evidence. Again, let me pull up one. It's a simple little book, again in the manila. You do not have to have photographs on the front. You do not have to have any special graphics. It's just something that the person who writes these awards likes to do. No points for it. Simply, it's your application page, your narrative of what you've done, how you did it, etc., and then your documentation. It's simple. Okay, let's look down. Let's look at some of the, well, let me make sure I've gotten everything here. So you see we've got a new awards address that we'll be sending in. Note that the awards must be submitted to the Florida Federation of Garden Club digitally by November the 22nd. That is the day before Thanksgiving. It puts a lot of pressure on you if you haven't gotten it all together. As I said, all applications are digital unless it's something, a big award, and that would require a book of evidence. Now, you don't have to submit another award or another application for the Deep South or the National Garden Club of America, because if you win first place at FFGC, they automatically, if it aligns with Deep South, they automatically send your award up, and then it can be awarded. I have here some samples of applications that won at state. They automatically sent up, and they took awards at the Deep South level. Not gotten one at national level yet, but we'll work on it. Okay, let's look at one of the awards descriptions. See the box, the orange box, awards descriptions. Okay. Okay. Awards tab. I'm sorry, Denise, I messed up. Go back, go to awards application, the application form. Go down. See it over to the right? Okay. This is what the application looks like. And you have one of those hard copies there. First of all, looking up at the top, you see the deadline is November the 22nd, unless stated otherwise. So on some awards, such as yearbook, you will have a different date. Now, here's a little difference. The projects go from, for Florida Federation of Garden Clubs, they're looking at January 1st to December 31st. So that means that some of the projects that you did last season could be incorporated and you could apply for those. Now you're going to be submitting this on November. You may have something else that's happening the 1st of December. You can still include that. You can't amplify on it, but you could include that if it was part of a series of programs. Okay, moving down, you see it says award number. All awards have a number. Then category. Some awards have categories, category numbers. If they have category numbers, that means that it is something that could be moved up to Deep South or National Garden Club. That means that the requirements are in alignment. Now, if it has a class, A and D, that means that this award will only be considered at Florida Federation Garden Club. Every award has a name. Moving down to district, we're all in District 4. Now, I'm going over these things because sometimes these things are overlooked. And when that happens, these applications are put on the bottom of the pile. None of us want to be on the bottom of the pile. So make sure that that happens. It says members in the club or circle. You might be submitting this award for your club of 100 or 1,000, but you may be doing it for your circle. So be sure to circle or highlight that. And then what is your club name? When they say club name, they mean Garden Club of Jacksonville or Garden Club of Switzerland or Garden Club of Mandarin, not your little circle. President's name, the president of your club, their email address, and their phone number. And I will say this, all of your applications are also, one of the requirements is that you forward your application to your president. And then here, person submitting, that might be you, and how they might contact you through email or phone. Moving on down, is your project new? Yes or no? Is this something that you do on an annual basis? Or is it something that is ongoing? If you started a community garden, that may have started years ago, and this is a project that will go on for many years. Give it a start date, an end date if you have one. Number 2, have you applied for other awards on this project? Yes or no? You can, and there are examples here, take an event and you can apply for an award, more than one award using that same event. For example, the Little Garden Diva Circle did a workshop for children. A Blooming Gardeners it's part of a series that the Garden Club of Jacksonville does. We did a workshop on birds. Well, then it was submitted to the FFGC, not under birds because they don't have a bird application, but they did have one for environmental education work involving youth. We won that one, and we won the local, and then it was bumped up to Deep South. So you can actually use one event and have more than one award there. Moving on down, include a brief summary and objectives of the program of the project. This is the meat of your application. It's important. Think about high school expository writing. Remember, it was who, what, where, when. Well, I want you to think in terms of, let's modify a little bit. Think in terms of why, what, how, who, so what are your results? Involvement. Again, this is important. How many people were involved and who was involved? How many of your members were involved? Were they actually there facilitating the event? Sometimes many of us have members in our circles that are impaired or elderly, and so maybe they can't be there for the actual event, but they contribute materials. That counts. And I'm going to tell you, numbers matter. Use numbers. For example, if say you had a group of 20 and 10 of your members facilitated a program, that's 10, which is 50%. Maybe 5 of them contributed materials, that's 25%. Numbers matter. And anytime you're involved with another group, such as the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Master Gardeners, include them. Who was involved? Project expenses. Project expenses. How much did it cost? Where did you get the money? They want to, it doesn't have to be, it's just a simple sentence. This is how much the project cost. And in your documentation, you're going to include just a simple little financial report on that. Materials cost, blah, blah, blah. Tools cost X amount. We had to rent a facility, boy. And where did that money come from? Did it come from the treasury, from your circle's treasury? Did you write a grant? Did you get something, maybe an ACE grant for the tools? That's what would be involved. And then the last question is this continued involvement? Is this a project that you're going to continue? What needs to be done? For example, in the maintenance. An example I might give you is, again, our little circle has installed 2 planters at a senior center. Well, that requires maintenance. That requires members to go there and monthly, at least monthly, to water, refurbish the plants. And then the last, number 7, this is where you're going to provide your documentation, photos, evidence, newspaper reports, if you've done something, if you've created a garden, a landscape plan. So let's see. So I'm going to kind of take you through this process by using this workshop. So this is what I'm going to do. Now, there is not an award for this workshop, unfortunately. But so this is what I want to keep in mind. Why am I doing this? Number 1, I want to encourage more circles to apply for awards. What am I going to do to make this happen? How am I going to meet my objectives? Number 1, I'm going to go through the process of the award application. I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to hopefully we can brainstorm and come up with some ideas that maybe you already have own projects. How is this being funded? Well, it's free. There are no costs involved. I have volunteered my time. I've done a few printouts. I do have the support of the Garden Club of Jacksonville technical and facilities staff. Who's involved? My awards committee is here, and you, all 2 of you, and whoever's on Zoom. So what? So what are the results of this? Well, hopefully, I'm going to see an increase in the number of awards that are submitted for District 4. Those are my results. So that's the process that you would go through. Simple enough, right? Okay, if we go to the awards page, look at an awards description. What we're going to do is we're actually going to look at 3 awards in 3 different categories and kind of analyze it. First of all, when you click on award descriptions, this is a listing of all the awards that are available. As you can see, lots of opportunities for a little bit of bragging. And And they're in many different categories: leadership, horticulture, civic, conservation, photography, on and on and on. Lots of opportunities. We're going to scroll down to number 20. This is just an example, and this is in the area of horticulture. Horticulture programs. Okay, there's your number 20. The name of this is Year's Horticulture Programs. Look down at the bottom of the award where it says categories. So number 1, categories. You could be a small club or circle of 29 members or under. That's number 1. Or perhaps you're doing this on behalf of your club of 100 members. So for my circle, I could submit an application under number 1. I could also submit an application for the Garden Club of Jacksonville, and that would be under number 4. This allows small circles and big circles to compete, but not against each other. So let's look at the description. To promote member interest and involvement in the field of horticulture planning, studying, growing, showing, and sharing. There is your objective. Why are you doing this? Now you just have to be specific. You just don't copy that. That would be too easy. But you might say to promote members' interest in the involvement of horticulture planning and growing of a community garden. That would be your objective. You might add more too. I think I would add, well, to show visibility of the garden club's contributions to the community. Let's see here, what else? What kind of activities might be involved in fulfilling these goals? Well, it might be lectures, it might be demonstrations, it might be hands-on activities. I'm thinking about what you do at your garden at UNF. They actually have work days, and they have horticulturists there kind of coaching and educating along with the hands-on activities. That's what are you doing? How was it funded? Who's funding this community garden? Was it a grant? Was it someone, just some wonderful benefactor gave it to you, or is your little circle paying for it? And then who's involved? And the results. How does this garden grow? How many people actually reaped from this garden? Okay, so moving on down to, I would like to make sure I've covered everything. Yeah. Okay, move on down to the next one, number 29. This is a 29. This is a Community Service Design Award. Looking at the description, to recognize and award clubs that provide floral designs or container grown plants in public places. Okay, looking down there. This is not in categories. Note that this is under classes, which means that this is only an award that is given by the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs. Class A, community service by a club. It's a weekly or monthly exhibit of designer or designer's choices or container grown plants in a building open to the public. So Class A is by a club, and if you'll look down a little bit further, it says there is a minimum number of 6 per garden club year, 6 different times. Now, I'm thinking an example of this. I know that here at the Garden Club of Jacksonville, there's a group called Floralia. And in Floralia, members in Floralia provide bouquets, arrangements to the comer every week. So why are they doing that? They're providing floral designs in public places. Why are they doing that? Again, to let the community know of the garden club's activities and benefit. Those are just 2. What are they doing? They provide an arrangement every week who is funding it? I believe that the Cummer gives them a stipend for each one of the arrangements, not much, but they use their own containers, and they just recycle those. Who all's involved? Well, these members of Floralia, and I believe they actually will be taking in mentees. They will act as a mentor, and they will actually be training some other younger novices in floral arrangements. And so that's who is involved. And so what's the result? Here's where they will have pictures of some of those arrangements. They might have notes of appreciation from the Cummer. Those are some of their documentation. Let's see here. Let's scroll on down to number 51. Number 51 is environmental education involving youth. Again, this is in the conservation category. And there is your objective or your why: to encourage the most comprehensive accomplishment in the field of environmental education, which involves children. Now, you don't just copy that. You would say, for example, to encourage the comprehensive accomplishment in the field of environmental education with children about monarch butterflies. And then you can go on to say to plant nectar plants to attract butterflies, to see the life cycle of the monarch butterflies, and so on. So what activities might be involved here? Again, when we did our Blooming Gardeners segment on the monarch butterfly, we had stations. I specified each activity in each station. 1, they planted a pinta. 2, they looked at butterfly wings under microscopes. 3, they, help me out, Connie.
Made a card, butterfly card.
They made a butterfly card, yes. They also looked at the 4 stages of the butterfly's development. And there was a story, someone read a story about the migration of the monarch butterfly. We actually specified exactly what was done. So how was it funded? It was funded through our little garden club. Where did we get our little garden circle? Where did we get the money? We raised the money at the flea market every year. And then we would include what the costs were in our materials. And that was pretty much it. It was a simple financial statement. And who was involved? How many children were involved? How many children attended? How many volunteers helped out? How many of our members helped facilitate? So what were the results? Again, the results were how many children were involved and how they took their plants home and planted them. So, all right, noting here under this, it says, here we are in categories. Categories, again, this particular award could be moved up to, because it's a category, it could be moved up to Deep South or the National Garden Club if it wins first place. The category number 1 was a small circle of 29, or it could be an individual. We have a former member who has established a butterfly garden, and she does butterfly tours in that garden for young people. So she can apply as an individual. Okay, let's see here. So now the Garden Club of Jacksonville can apply for this award under number 4. Extra large circles with 100 members, because they have a series of budding gardener programs with many different kinds of programs that encourage environmental education for young people. So we both win. The Garden Divas, a small circle, did 1 program in that series. The Garden Divas won, and the Garden Club of Jacksonville also won. Okay, now you can apply this particular award on the butterflies Not only did we win under environmental education involving youth, but we also won under butterfly conservation. If you do apply for 2 different awards using the same event, it has to be written up slightly different. Just focus on what that description asks for. Okay, so how are we going to be judged on this? If you'll move down to the basic scale of points. Okay, well, there you go. The basic scale of points. First, presentation. Neat, concise, all the information is included. 3 sheets allowed. Okay, your application is sheet number 1, and that's where all your writing is. Sheet 2 and 3 are your documentation, your photographs, your newspaper articles, your flyers of announcing who, and maybe photographs of signage. That's where that goes. That's 5 points. Achievement, 65. This is the meat of your application. This is the why, the what, the how. Well, no, not the how so much. The why, the what, the who, and the so what. What are your results? They want to know, how big was this project? Why did you do it? That's the need and fulfillment. Who benefited and the activities. And then your financial reports in there. Again, your financial reports can be just a very simple statement. This much money was spent on tools. This much money was spent on materials. This much money was spent on renting facility if necessary. And this is how we paid for it, where the money came from. That's it. Participation. Again, numbers matter. How big is your group? If you have a circle of 20 and you had 10 members in facilitating, that's 50%, and so on. How many young people were involved? Who else? The community, what other groups did you have working with you? And so on. And then your documentation. Here's where you put, and you want your photographs to be clearly labeled. And I like to use the same verbiage that I used in my my narrative. Like if I said 25 members were participating, I'd like to show a photograph of those 25 members doing something. How many young people were involved and what were they doing? What activities were they? So here is this is where your documentation comes in. And again, that's 15 points. So yeah, lots. Is it clear as mud? Just stick to these. Why am I doing it? What did I do? How much did it cost? Who was involved? And what were the results of your project? That's it. Do we have any questions? Does anybody have a project in mind or a project that they've done that they might think might be? Yes.
I really had a question. Did they tell you how much is available at least?
How much what?
How much money?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
And when I said large amounts of cash, it's usually awards about $25, $50. Sometimes it's just your name gets on a plaque. That's locally. But I will say this, during the pandemic, we did not have a flea market, so our little circle had no funds coming in. And I think the only source of income we had that year was $165 from awards. Give or take $1 or $2. So, you know, they're small awards, yes. But the recognition is a wonderful thing. Yes, a wonderful thing. Any other questions? Well, I'm going to step away. Oh, yes.
For example, if there was something they wanted to do with the university and they're not members, how's that work?
Okay, that's a good question. You do have to, in order to apply for these awards, you do have to be a member of the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs. If you're a member of a circle and a garden club, you're automatically a member of the Florida Federation. So yes, it has.
Now, the Mandarin Garden Club is not part of the federation.
Oh,
I don't believe so, but I don't know that for sure, so there's definitely.
So that group would not be, and the UNF is, yeah, I'm trying to see how that fits in.
Mhm. Okay, at UNF, now, again, we don't know if the Garden Club of Mandarin is
Training students, which might fit into
exactly.
into the protocol.
So this is what I would say. First, find out if the Garden Club of Mandarin is a part of the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs. If they are, and you have a group of members from the Garden Club of Mandarin working at the UNF gardens with students, yes, I think you would certainly qualify, but you have to do it as members of your garden club. Yes. Any other questions? Yes.
So all those categories and everything were for the Federation of Garden Club,
Only
all of those.
if it
They're not
has,
in the book here.
yes, if it has a number, if it is a number, it is going to be, it would, that particular ward, it can qualify. It's in alignment with requirements of Deep South Awards and National Garden Club Awards. However, if it has a category letter, A through D, that means it is only an award only at the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs level.
So can you download all the categories?
Yes,
Yes,
so, yeah, that's, what we were going through, that's a PDF you could download and has all of that, so.
Okay, so do
On the
you,
FFGC site.
so do you go to that Florida?
okay, yeah, let's go back to what,
Down here. Florida Awards 2024 gmail.com.
that's what,
FFGC.org is the website for Florida Federation.
yeah, you want, this is what you want to go to, Carol, the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs website. And then when you get there, this is what the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs website looks like. This is their homepage. Now you see she's highlighting, see awards. And then under awards descriptions, that you can click on that. One thing I wanted to point out, yes, thank you. Go back to the awards tab, please. Yes, they have under awards, they have this little segment called awards education. And there's a wealth of information here. Frequently asked questions, keys to award writing, how to insert images, how to write a book of evidence.
How did you get to that?
It was under awards,
And
awards education.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you see under awards, there's awards descriptions, awards education, and yes. Is that, did we answer that question for you? I have read this and I tried to, and I've gleaned little points from all of this. So I was trying to share what I learned while wandering in the weeds here with you to try to make it as succinct as possible. But they also have PowerPoint workshops and so on. Again, just to kind of amplify. It doesn't have to be a big project. I mean, it's just focus. Why did I do it? What did I do? How much did it cost? Who was involved? And what are the results? Oh, yes, please. Now, yes, I'm sorry. No,
Because the dates are different.
oh, I'm so glad you brought that up, Connie. Yes. For the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs, they go January 1st to December 31st. So that's a whole year. But if you're going to apply for a Garden Club of Jacksonville award, our dates are different. We are just considering this season, basically June 1st through May 31st. And our due dates, let me look real quickly. It's in April. Yes, our due dates are April 19th. April 19th. And the awards will be awarded at the awards, the annual meeting, which I know. Okay, wait. Yes. It's all in here. Please do look in your little handbook. And we have lots of great awards too. We have a membership award. How much has your circle increased in their membership? Program awards, the Mary Noble McQuarrie Award for Education Excellence, a Circle Program Award. I mean, do you have a theme? Does your circle have a theme? What kind of activities and programs do they have to fulfill that? That's a great award.
My question then, if the Garden Club of Jacksonville goes from June 1 to May 31st, but you have to have it in by April,
Yes.
because we do a budding gardeners thing usually in May, first part of May. How do you go about, are you just out of luck? No, we've submitted stuff before.
Yeah, I guess so.
Goes to the next year.
Yes,
Well,
because
It's tough because if you're going to award them within the year, it's hard to have something that, because you have to have it, if you're gonna award it on May 16th. You have to have some
you
documentation.
can't have, and you don't have your documentation or results. That's
We
true.
have done the budding gardeners, separate budding gardeners, in May for the last year of this coming year, because we do a program that the inside out there conservation garden tour. So, we've been kind of
I
combining.
know we've won an award before,
In a May.
budding gardener program that we used to do in May.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. At the Garden Club of Jacksonville, you have to submit an application page, just basically a notifying the awards committee that an award is coming, just a page. It doesn't have the narrative in it. But the actual book of evidence, which is your narrative and your photographs and documentation, is due May 3rd. And then the awards are given at the annual meeting, which I think is May 16th or somewhere around there. But do look at the awards that are offered here. There's an Arbor Day award, a flowering tree award. Does your circle, maybe they have a tree one year. Garden therapy. I think your circle, I know there is a circle that does over 100 Christmas trees in December for hospice families. Wildflower. And then the Garden Divas, again, they do bouquets around Easter for nursing homes. And so that's garden therapy. So do look at that. It's simple. I hope you'll have an opportunity to look at some of the awards that have been submitted. They go all the way from being very sophisticated and done with computers to cut and paste with construction paper. And that works. That's at the local level. At the state level, everything's done digitally and it's sent through. Any other questions? Oh,
Yeah,
this?
definitely good book. So they're automatically handed out to all the circle members. And if you're a friend's member, it's by request. So we can either give you a digital copy or we can give you a physical copy.
The digital copy is fine.
Yeah.
That would save paper.
Okay. Thank you for coming. Also in the Garden Club handbook, your book, is my number and the members of my committee, Carol and Connie and Jan Sillik, and they would be glad to help you if you stumble or just have questions. We're glad to help you. So thank you. Thank you, Zoom friends, for joining us. And I hope this can be beneficial. And I fully expect to see the results of this workshop with a huge increase in District 4 applications. Thank you.
Wouldn't it be all right to look at?
That's exactly why they're here.
It's always nice to see one that's made it.
Yeah, yes, this was a very big project. But these are, here's a project that our circle did. For our Fun with Flowers series. See, it's not such a big deal.
Do you mind if I copy it?
No. I know I'm